I want to make sure that both of this is on. Okay, I think we're ready. All right, hi.
Hi.
I sound so nice, don't I?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and do another installment of a movie review. The first one, I know, the first one we did wasn't so hot. The
Dune.
The original Dune, it was Dune, Dune, Dune. I can't help it.
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm here all day. So let's,
Yeah.
I'm Ellie.
I'm Holland.
Thank you. And so we are actually going to be doing a review on what I consider to be a classic teen drama from the 1980s. And one of the reasons why we chose this movie, so it's The Breakfast Club, 1985, was because we were trying to see, do these quintessential, especially like John Hughes movies, did they stand the test of time? Or are they a little bit cringeworthy? So I'd love to hear your take on it first, if you want to maybe just say what you thought, like the plot, and then tell me what your thoughts were.
I thought it was good. It was, I don't know. I think it was a good movie, like, overall, but I didn't really like the ending. It kind of went too fast. Like, not necessarily too fast, but it just didn't really make sense, the ending to me. It could have been explained a little bit more.
I mean, it was only like an hour and a half long, right? I think we're so used to movies nowadays, I think, that are so much longer than an hour and 30 minutes, right, that I think the genre back in the 80s was like, hey, an hour and 30 for something like that is good.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more, like, do you think... so it's all about students in high school who have all-day detention. Now, first of all, could you imagine having Saturday detention for 9 hours?
No. I honestly don't think it's definitely not a thing anymore.
No, that is not a thing anymore.
Like ISS and OSS, but
yeah, there's
not 9 hour all day suspension on Saturdays.
Right.
Especially how they were treated by the dean. Is it the dean or the principal?
Principal, I think.
Principal?
Yeah.
Dean?
Yeah.
Basically not the same thing, but
yeah.
Just the way they were treated and the way they reacted to certain things just was a lot different than, like, for the time period. I think it was good, but it's not how things would go nowadays.
So tell me something specifically that you saw that would be different from, like, so from the 80s, so that was to now. What is one of the things that you said, the way that the principal treated the students? What was one way that you think would be?
Getting locked in the closet. Like, locking that kid in the closet.
Okay, yeah, as an educator, that gave me heart palpitations, because right away I'm like, oh my gosh, lawsuits, you lock a kid in a closet and you're getting sued.
Yeah.
So
also, like, looking through all, like, the permanent records and stuff in the basement that were, like, classified. I don't know, there's just a lot of certain things that he did and the students did that were odd, I guess.
That you said just couldn't relate, or just wouldn't be able to, like, wouldn't even happen nowadays. So the whole point, right, just as the synopsis, students getting second detention, and I did not know it was 9 hours. I thought that was crazy in itself, because we're not even in school for 9 hours.
I was gonna say, like, a normal school day is 6-7 hours,
right?
9 hours is
over the top. Yeah. Do you think, okay, so them getting that, so it would be called suspension now, right? Yeah. So being in that suspension on a Saturday, do you think the things that they did would have warranted that in-school suspension?
I don't know. I think that a lot of them would have had an out-of-school suspension, or would have gotten, not expelled, but at least now they would have gotten in more trouble than just a suspension for 9 hours. Like, taping a kid's butt cheeks together. I just think that's a little
That's harsh. That's
horrible.
that is a Title IX. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, again, educator lens, like understanding that is not okay.
He brought a flare gun to school.
That's not, oh yeah, weapons,
But,
right?
like,
So like flare gun,
weapons,
like Title
meant
IX, nudity, yeah, and then ditching. I could see that being in school suspension. So from
Yeah.
Claire, the princess.
She got in there for ditching?
Mhm.
When did they say that?
Right at the very beginning, when she's in the car with her dad, and he's like, "Honey, ditching school to go shopping is not that bad."
Oh, I thought he meant like ditching the...
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's why she got it.
Oh.
And then, I cannot remember. Oh, pulling a fire alarm. That's what
who was
Bender
that?
did, the criminal.
Bender pulled the fire alarm. Andrew taped a kid's butt cheeks together. Brian brought a flare gun to school. Claire ditched. And then what did,
Allison?
Allison do?
She said, the only thing she said she was bored. And that's why she came.
Oh.
Suspension. Yeah, so those are, I mean, I can't tell if those would or would not be. So, like, do you feel, though, I mean, because I remember watching this movie as a kid and just relating so much, no, for real,
Really?
to that, not any one of those characters, though, because those are definite stereotypes, right? But just being able to relate to the angst and not feeling seen or having to follow the crowd. Do you think any of those themes kind of fit today?
I feel like it definitely touched on a couple parts with, like, peer pressure and, like, feeling like you have to, like, smoke the weed or
the weed.
tell them...
I'm smoking.
I'm gonna leave.
I'm smoking the weed. Keep going. I'm so sorry.
You can keep going.
Okay, so yeah, like smoking pot or like you felt like that was peer pressure for them.
And I feel like that does happen, just not in the way that it showed in the movie. Like nowadays.
Yeah. Do you feel like you could relate to it felt like the family dynamics for each one of those characters, they felt like one of the most famous lines is like something about once you become an adult, your heart dies. Allison said that. Do you feel a lot of your friends feel the same way about parents or adult figures?
I mean, not that I can think of. Like, I definitely know some situations that it's like kind of there, but not really. Like, I know a lot of my friends aren't as close with their parents as I know I am. But
Touch my shoulder. No, just kidding. I mean, of course.
But just thinking about it, I know they're not as close, but nothing to the extent that the movie shows.
I mean, and of course it's a movie, right? So they're going to be doing more of the extremes.
Right. Being like a dean, do you see that family dynamic with kids and their parents who come in?
I think the one I relate the most, I felt the most empathy for was actually Andrew, the athlete.
Yeah.
I felt like he was the most relatable character in all of it, because I thought he was kind, but then he was complex, because I thought he had a good heart, but he followed, right? He was such a follower, and that is what I see the most, not just from parents, but I think also from friends, right? Just following along with the crowd. And trying to do something that, so looking at, the reason why he taped that kid's butt together, right? He said it was because of his dad, but I could see that due to peer pressure.
Yeah.
And I see things like that happening more due to peer pressure than maybe family dynamics.
Right.
Could you see that?
Yeah.
So who do you feel like, of those 5 characters, who do you feel like was the most relatable to you, and why do you think?
To me?
Yeah. Or none of them?
Not really any of them, because I don't think I really have that pressure of Andrew. Like, I am an athlete, but I don't think I'm held to the same expectations or peer pressure that Andrew was.
Yeah.
Same with Claire. Like, she was really a follower.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of see at the end, too.
Yeah. I did not like how conceited she was.
Me neither.
At all. I could not.
I don't think her character developed at all. It kind of just stayed the same.
I agree. Yeah, I could totally.
Especially making Brian do all their papers.
I know when she did that, I was like, ew.
I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. I did not appreciate that, for sure. I could not really understand or relate to that. It was interesting that, same thing with Allison, that I actually could see somebody, like seeing students or people being more like Allison.
Yeah.
And definitely Brian, I could see.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a stereotype, right? Like the mathlete, smart kid who can't get a light bulb to turn on for shop class.
I feel like they definitely over-exaggerated the stereotypes, but I know people that fit who, like fit different characters.
Yeah, oh, for sure, right? I mean, the one thing that I really did appreciate, I did get, like, visceral reactions from that character development. I think John Hughes did a really good job.
Visceral reactions?
Yes.
You mean, like, throwing up?
Well, like a...
Oh, you're using vocabulary words.
Yeah, I am. So, like, yes, like, feeling... I think what makes a good movie is if you do get a sort of visceral reaction. Like, I was angered by how much John Bender harassed Claire. Like, it grossed me out, and it made me feel horrible every time. You know what I mean? Every time that he was...
under the table.
Yes, the whole situation. But do you know what's really interesting about this? Is that he almost got fired from the movie because he was a method actor. So Judd Nelson was doing method acting, which means that they don't turn it off once the scene is done. Oh. He maintained that character for the entire duration of the movie, on or off of set.
If I acted with him, I could not. I'd quit.
And that was it. Like, Molly Ringwald was like, I can't handle this anymore, and John Hughes apparently almost fired him because he kept harassing Molly Ringwald's Claire, like, throughout the entire, even while off set. And so I don't think I would be able to handle that either. It was crazy. Yeah. I know. But I thought he did a great job because I was so mad about him. I don't know. Like, I was so, like, frustrated. Like, I wanted to, for Claire, right? And for everybody. But I was so glad that, like, Andrew would stick up for her, and that's why I think he was the most relatable character, because he was trying to be good, but at the same time, you could tell that he had flaws.
I think one of the scenes that didn't sit with me right, or like was unsatisfying, was the one with Andrew and Allison in the hallway where like they're talking.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, I just didn't like that scene very much.
The one where they were getting the drinks for everybody. So tell me like a little bit more talk a little bit about that scene and what you remember, and then what didn't sit well with you.
I don't know, it's just them talking about like why they're in there and him like saying stuff. I don't know. Just something about that scene I didn't like. That's the thing that comes to mind. I mean, yeah. Did
it make you uncomfortable, or did it...
No.
Oh.
I just don't really like Allison, I think.
Oh, really? You just didn't like her character?
Yeah. I thought she was going to have a bigger character development, and she didn't, really. Because Claire gave her the makeover.
Yeah.
And then she... I don't know.
I know, okay, do you feel like the characters did learn something?
It felt fake to me, the stuff that they learned. Like, Claire learned how to love, what's his face?
John Bender.
And like she gave him her earring and stuff. But that felt so fake to me because they were literally like 5 minutes before that talking about how they wouldn't talk to each other at all during school and how they wouldn't even like talk to each other at all. Yeah. But then, and also with Allison, like, changing, I don't buy it. Like,
I know that is, and again, I hear what you're saying about in the last 5 minutes, everybody went through these like major transformations of like, oh, I didn't like you, but then all of a sudden I do like you. I think it was they were trying to develop it through the conversations, right, and saying we would, Brian and Allison would talk to them, and Claire's like, well, it's because you look up to us, and it's not really, you know, but I think the purpose, I liked the idea of it, right? That they should breaking down those stereotypes. I think the whole purpose, what I really enjoy about it is that it's breaking down the stereotypes. Yeah. And you just have to get to know somebody in order to break down those stereotypes. Right. I don't feel like Allison should have had to have changed what she looked like for Andrew to like her. Yeah. I feel like that was kind of didn't have to be, shouldn't have been a thing. So, yeah. But do you feel like that we should, do you think that people your age, do you think they would get something out of, watching this movie? Do you think that it would be a good opportunity?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not sure how many people my age would like this movie, just based off of the age of it and how it's aged. I don't think it's very relatable to teens now.
Oh, you don't think so?
It is a little bit, but not by a lot. And I don't think they'd have the same perspectives as a lot of people. So I'm not sure how much they'd like it.
Yeah. Were there any scenes that stood out to you that you liked, or that were like, oh my gosh, this is not really going to happen ever?
Well, obviously the closet scene, them getting high in the library, dancing randomly, the whole movie, the plot of the movie. It's not really realistic at all.
What I appreciated was the dance scene, how ridiculous that was. I mean, I feel like I almost wanted to recreate that with you. I was like, which one are you going to dance? You said you were Claire in the dance scene. Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Because, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting their names. What's her name?
Allison, Claire.
Allison, yeah. It was kind of just flopping on the ground. Yeah. John was his name? Yeah. Was kind of just riding the statue.
I know. He was headbanging. That's an 80s thing.
And then the other two weren't really doing anything.
You know what I actually want to see? Okay, if we were doing the Alice and Claire little dance thing, and then Chad does Andrew's flips. I would
think he could. I'd like to see him try.
Wouldn't that be amazing to try and see Chad to do all those flips that Andrew did? Yeah. So we could be in the background doing the easy little dances, and then Chad can do the Andrew flips. Yeah. I think that'd be great. I think we could see that. Any scenes though that you did, you don't think there are any scenes that could be relatable? I mean, I liked the scene personally as an adult now, the scene in the basement where the custodian called the principal out, hey, what are you doing down here? These are just kids.
Yeah, I do like that scene. I just don't feel I don't feel like it's realistic, but it's also a movie, so they have to over exaggerate everything and kind of add a fictional part to it. Well, the whole movie's fictional.
Do you think? So do you think? Because I know the answer. Do you think that they could do a remake of this movie and have it be more relatable? So have a 2025 version. Oh my gosh, this was 40 years ago that this movie was made.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
No.
Did you watch it when it first came out?
No. I mean, I was older. I was a teenager when it came, when I was able to watch it. And what's interesting is when it used to be on regular TV. But in order for it to be on TV, they had to cut out all the swear words. So there were full scenes that I didn't know about as a teenager that when I watched it again, on the, actual movie channel, HBO or whatever, I was shocked. I was like, this is not the same movie, because they had, if you think about the under the table scene was not there.
Really?
No.
I feel like that kind of just shows John's character and how he was.
But to be on regular broadcasted TV, you cannot show stuff like that.
Yeah.
None of the swears. The whole scene with smoking weed was all gone. So they were dancing, but I had no idea why they were dancing.
You didn't know that they were high. You just thought they were dancing.
Yes, it was like they were bored, and it's like 1:00 in the afternoon after lunch. So they
Didn't have that scene in there at all.
No,
They didn't even like hint at it. You just thought they were dancing for fun and acting
yes,
crazy.
yes,
for fun.
yes. So just think about that, like cutting it down because of all of those. Like it had to be legit G or PG.
The movie must have been like 30 minutes then.
It was, I know, it's probably an hour, but with commercials and whatnot,
Yeah.
it was still an hour and a half. Yeah, so definitely so different than like when I first saw it than when I saw it again.
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
But you think that they could redo it? What would be some of the changes that you think would have to happen in order for it to be recreated?
I think they'd have to be in a different situation with the suspension.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
with the day suspension,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. They could be in like summer school and stuff because I know there is still summer school programs that a lot of kids take.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They'd have to figure out something there.
I mean, it could have been an in-school suspension day
Yeah.
or something like that. I mean, I guess.
I don't know. I think they could still have characters like the dean or the principal be like mean, but I don't think it could be like. I mean, I don't know.
What do you think the stereotypes would be of the kids in the movie?
It's the same.
Oh, you think so? You think you could have the same kind of stereotypes? Do you think Allison would be, I think of more like a theater kid?
Yeah,
maybe?
she'd be more of like a theater kid, I guess.
I don't know. That's what do you know what I mean? Like we're like talking stereotypes and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I'm just kind of thinking of that. They were talking about doing a remake,
Oh, they were?
and I think a bunch of people said no.
Yeah.
That they didn't want that to happen.
I can kind of see that because I'm not sure how many people would watch the remake.
right
Because the original is just so much better. Like, if they made the original, but, like,
with new characters.
2025,
Yeah.
and the original didn't come out
Yeah.
40 years ago,
Yeah.
I think it could have been a good, like, a hit movie now.
Oh, interesting.
Too.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to ask you this too because I know the answer. Who do you think actually got together in real life from the movie? Because there were actually two couples who got together.
Two? Where is it both, like, Allison and Claire was one of the people?
Well, obvious. I mean, now.
Well, actually,
who knows? I know.
Brian and
It could
John,
be. Yeah, I mean, it could have been.
Not good for it there.
It could be.
I think Allison and... I think... Sorry. Oh. I think that Allison and Andrew...
Yes, you're
Got
right.
together.
They did really, in real life, they actually did date.
And then, just based off of what you've been talking about, how John was, like, actually acting with Alice... Or with Claire...
Yeah.
and how she didn't feel comfortable, I think her and Brian.
Oh my gosh. Good deductive reasoning skills. That is actually true. Yeah. Because they were in, so Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall were the two characters. They were in 16 Candles together as well. It's another John Hughes movie from the 80s, which did not age well at all. In
Really?
so many ways. Yeah. If you want to watch it, we can watch it and you'll be like, oh, talk about cringe. Bad. It's pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that were super inappropriate, super bad.
That's
yeah.
something, this is kind of off topic, but, like, Beetlejuice,
Yeah.
I feel like didn't age super well because of how normalized, like, sexualizing girls was with him, like, looking up her skirt
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
Yep,
That kind of reminded me of John and
that
the
whole
stuff that he
scene,
did.
right?
and
Exactly.
seeing, like, how it's changed, where, like,
Yeah.
now that's not socially acceptable at all.
Well, do you know what's interesting? I was reading about this too. So that whole scene, it was a body double for Claire
Really?
for the underwear scene because she was 16 and he was 25.
He was 25?
In that movie, he was 25 years old when they
Kinda
were
looks
filming.
25.
But she was 16.
Right.
So-
and she's not even, like, of age yet. She's
No,
not.
so that's why they had to do the double.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That's-
It would be just for legal reasons.
It's, like, nauseating.
I know, but but they still did the scene, right? And
Right.
I there was something about Claire's mom not finding that appropriate, but they still kept the
obviously.
scene. I know. Well, yeah,
Like,
they kept the scene in, even though it was a double, but people didn't know
they thought it was
that it was. Well, yeah, I mean that's
Well,
what you're
obviously,
gonna assume,
right.
which
They're
is
not gonna go out and say,
freaky.
"Hey, this is a body double."
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's gonna like ruin the
It was so
movie magic. Movie magic.
the magic of the movies. Yes. So that I thought that was kind of interesting too, because I know that I wouldn't want that. Like, for if you were in a movie like that,
Yeah.
there's no way I would want.
I'm not
anything
even
like
sure
that.
how her parents were okay with how she was being treated, especially by John. Like,
Throughout the entire movie.
yeah, and like Offset too.
Yeah, I know. Like, another side note, which I found was really, like, super interesting. Molly Ringwald was considered, the director's John Hughes, was considered his muse. She was in 3 movies of his. And isn't that interesting? I know. Slightly weird.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what, if it was just like a pure thinking, if he was, I don't know what John Hughes was thinking during that time, but I think that he thought she was a great actor, loved her work. She was supposed to be in a 4th movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And
How
now,
many movies has he directed? A lot.
a lot. He did Home Alone.
Oh, really?
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's more. I know he's done a lot more. 16 Candles. Home Alone. She was also in Pretty in Pink, which was a John Hughes movie. Oh my god, one of my favorites.
Who directed Say Anything?
That was Cameron Crowe. And I think that was his directorial debut. And I mean, you know that's my like one of my favorite 80s movies ever. But yeah, so do you think, okay, so you think there could be a remake there could have been a remake of it with some differences.
Yeah.
What would you have given this movie?
Like, out of 10?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to think about that one. You go first.
I mean, just because of nostalgia,
Mm-hmm.
a 7 out of 10. Even looking back on it, all the cringing and weird things that happened, to me, the discussion about family dynamics and about following and peer pressure and all of that, I felt like could still hold weight today.
Yeah. I think I'd give it, well, I was going to say 7 out of 10,
Yeah.
but I know how much you like the movie. So it's like, I'm not sure if that's like an accurate rating now.
Because I like it so much.
You like it so much and you gave it a 7. So maybe like a 6.
Yeah.
6,
No,
5
that's
or
pretty
6,
good.
yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, it's better than the .00001 from Dune.
Yeah.
Do you have your phone on you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we're going to do some IMDb ratings. So we're going to look. Do you know how to get into IMDb?
No, I do not. Where is it? Just
When you search it. So IMDb.
this?
Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to look at the ratings, and we're going to look at like a really high rating and a really low rating. Let's look at a number, or one that we thought, like between a 6 and a 7.
Also, why is it called Breakfast Club?
That is a great question. I think because, like, Saturday school, they were there at 7 eating bread. That's a great question. I should probably know the answer to that.
I'm going to search it up really quick.
Okay. Yeah, look that up. Why is it called the Breakfast Club? Because of the detention was called that? I have no idea.
The movie Breakfast Club is named after a nickname for Saturday morning detention for high school.
Look at me knowing things. Because they really all enjoy eating French toast together.
Yeah, well, they didn't even eat French toast.
What? Just making up a breakfast that they would eat. And French toast is the first thing that came to my mind. Everybody loves French toast.
So our ratings were pretty accurate. It's a 7.8 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's pick one. Let's get if you can look at the reviews, let's try and find a 1 review or a low review, and then one that was like ours, and I'll have you read it because I don't have my glasses.
Which Which one is it? This one?
Reviews. Yeah. Yep.
Can I filter it?
I think so. By low to high or high to low, maybe.
There's an 8.
Okay, yeah.
And then I don't know how to get a low one.
Let's see.
Wait, one second. Then there's a 7.
I think while you're looking, let's do a 7. Don't you forget about me. I'll do the musical interlude while you.
Oh wait.
And I'll do the ending. Okay.
10 out of 10. Do you want to read it?
I can't because I don't have my glasses.
Oh, there's glasses right there.
Just read it.
Okay. It's really long.
Oh, then don't.
No, actually, it's not. It's not long. The cream of the crop in 80s fare. This movie is one of the best, if not the best, 80 films there is. The fact is, every teen character in the movie can be related to someone we knew in high school. As a child of the 80s, I can honestly say that this is a representative cross-section of every high school in North America. The geek, the jock, the outcast, the rich pretty girl snob, and the future criminal.
Okay, well, let's stop there. Do you feel like that could actually be equated to today?
Yeah.
So absolutely, right? Okay,
Yeah,
very
sure.
cool. Yeah, any other good points there?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's one of the best. It's, if not the best 80s film out there. I feel
It's
like
not the best.
There's better 80s films.
There really are.
They're kind
for
of
sure.
hyping it up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, as we were singing, I'm like, it was pretty good music. It's not bad. Okay, so try and find a low one.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, you don't have to read anymore. I
Oh,
don't think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna do the top one.
Okay.
Oh. It just says one big cliche made up of lots of cliches.
What score was that? What score?
1.
Okay, say that again. Yeah, say it louder. What is it?
One big cliche made up of lots of little cliches.
Well,
Here.
Okay.
I just watched this on AMC. At first, I was going to give it a 6 out of 10, then later revised that down to a 3 out of 10, and by the end of the movie, I was at rock bottom, 1 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Why does this movie suck so badly? Not because it wasn't well made or badly acted, but rather because the story itself was just so awful. What we have here are a bunch of smaller cliches that add it to some very big cliches. All the principal characters are cliches, and so are all of the premises of this film. This person really likes the word cliche.
Because they want to sound fancy.
Yeah.
Because
They
they're
wanna
like
sound
they're
smart.
probably sipping tea like this.
Yeah.
And they have a monocle. So this is so cliche. It is like
You
the
know how we had the
cliches.
like count in the last video?
Uh-huh.
We need a cliche count for
I know.
this.
Yeah.
You have 5 high school kids who are all stock high school characters. The jock, the brain, the popular pretty girl, the long-haired greaser, tough guy, and finally the misfit. They are all stuck in detention for a day under the supervision of the sixth cliche, the, I think, assistant principal. The perfect personification from the teenager's point of view, mindless adult authority. He might as well wear a swastika armband so one-dimensional in his character.
The principal? Holy cow, they did not like him.
They did not like this movie
No.
at all.
And they did not like that assistant principal, the principal.
Okay, I'm just gonna show the camera how long this 1-star review is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't have to go through all of that. They really put a lot of effort into being cliched.
Yeah, they really were cliche in people giving 1-star reviews. They cliched their own cliche.
Yeah. How cliche
Yeah.
to give a 1-star review. They're so Karen. Oh my god, let's talk about some more cliches.
I know, it's literally a cliche and a cliche and a cliche of people hating cliches. Oh my gosh. That is just like...
How can we say, oh, that is a cliche? Oh my gosh.
And then there's a couple more where it's like sums up everything bad about 80s teen films, and they call this a classic. Awful. One of them is just called Awful.
Oh.
Great title, great song, terrible movie.
It is a great song.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about the title of the movie. It's fine.
Moronic stereotypes add up to dumb movies.
Ooh.
The Breakfast Club has to be one of the dumbest and most boring movies ever made.
You know, I think one of the issues with it is that it is a single story. Okay, read it. Okay. I was gonna get all serious.
Who can buy Jughead Nelson as a bully? He looks like a girl.
Wow. Not appropriate. Like, so what if he looks like a girl or a boy? It doesn't matter. He can still be a bully.
He's Ali CD, Molly Ringworm, Anthony Michael. Wasn't he in Van Halen? And Emilio Sheen Estevez, thanks to his dad Martin Sheen for this role, was a cast for boring rich kids.
Wow. Oh, you know, one thing that does stand out that does not hit the test of time is that it's all a bunch of white kids.
Yeah.
So when they're talking about suburban, white Chicago, suburbia, you know, I was like, yeah, I can absolutely see that.
It's not aging well with that.
Yeah. Now I lost. Oh, I think they're talking about like the stereotypes, but the whole purpose was that everybody, I think they're not looking at the actual movie itself because yes, they all walked in thinking they were these stereotypes, but then they tried to break them down.
Even though if that wasn't like it didn't completely show, like, with Claire still making Brian do their writing,
and then changing Allison into being,
and then making Allison prettier, because that's the only way that Andrew could play
like her. Yeah, exactly. And then Brian still wrote the essay. Yeah. But they broke them down on the fact of we're getting to know each other. And like I said, that's why Andrew was my favorite character, because I felt like he was the most complex.
I think he improved the most too. I think so too. I think he's gonna go back and truly apologize to the kid he taped. The kid who butt taped.
The kid he butt taped. It's so cliche. Oh my goodness. I hope there's not an increase of butt taping after this review.
I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm gonna read one more positive one.
Yeah, read one more.
That's positive. A lot of negative.
Yeah, okay.
Should I do like
a 7?
A 7 star?
Yeah.
Like one that we
thought of. See how
should I do still worth watching in 2021?
There you go.
It's 2025,
but that's okay. This was when the review happened. Okay.
When the review happened. I was 14 in 1984. How old are they now then?
Oh, I don't know.
Old.
Hey.
They were born in,
it's like 60s. They were probably
70.
born in the 60s.
Oh, they were born in 1970.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. Don't call me on that math.
Okay.
And this film didn't really grab me back then. However, as an adult, I now decided to revisit it and thoroughly enjoyed it. First off, it is not a comedy. There are some humorous moments that work and some that definitely don't work. Where the film really hits the mark is when we begin to see the background from which these 5 kids come. Initially, we are presented with them as being poles apart in terms of their academic achievements, physical abilities, or artistic talents, but the movie progresses. Each character reveals a bit more about their relationship with their parents and how they themselves are affected by either their parents' expectations of them or their parents' maltreatment of them. The film really comes together when they begin to realize that they all share this common theme.
Oh, I could agree with that review.
Yeah.
I think
that kind of sums it up. There's another part, but it says, looking at it through a 21st century lens and giving the characters our school children, some of the script can be uncomfortable to listen to and watch, and would certainly not even be considered if it were made now. But if you understand that it was 1984 and we thought quite differently then, you will definitely come away with a very positive experience from having watched this.
Oh, I like that.
I think that kind of perfectly sums it up.
I think
Thank
so,
you,
too.
McKay McCallum.
Thank you, McKay McCallum. It wasn't a cliche. Well, yeah. Any last thoughts or comments that? Because I think, okay, so overall, some places it hit well, some places
Yeah.
missed the mark as far as being relatable. You gave it as like 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
So not bad. But yeah, any last thoughts or comments on the movie?
Not that I can think of. Only that it was a little bit of a cliche. But that's about it.
You know, I understood. Did you understand the entire plot for the most part?
Yeah, up until the end, I was a little confused at the end,
But
Pretty
hey,
much.
that is so much better than the first movie that we reviewed together. So I'm actually really
That's
happy
true.
about that.
yeah, this one was easier to follow.
Yeah.
It was just overall better.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much. And yay, we got our second one done. Awesome. Thank you, kid.
Do you want to say hi to the camera cat?
I
I think she does.
Yeah.